Hi everyone, my name is Eniola Fadiji and I'll be your moderator for this section. And I welcome you all officially to our monthly webinar. So we'll be having this webinar for the month of March. Thank you all for joining. Once again, my name is Eniola and here is Fisheries Hub. You're all welcome. Please in the chat box, drop your name and where you are watching us from. We want to know you. We want to know who you are and would love to see you. Please drop your comment in the chat box. Yeah, moving forward, we are so excited to have a person of dignity and honor in our midst that will be sharing a journey with us in the industry of fisheries and aquaculture. So today we'll be having Dr. Foluke Areola, and the theme of this month's webinar is My Journey in Fisheries and Aquaculture, Lessons for the Next Generation. I'm really sure you don't want to miss this opportunity. You don't want to miss this enlightenment because this section is going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be mind-blowing. As usual, you know how we do it here. You'll need your writing materials, your pen and your jotter. Please make sure you are jotting something down. No point must be missed because all things that should be dishing out for us is so much important. Yes. Alright. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that who started and we are not waiting for you. Thank you very much. So coming up is Dr. Areola Foluke. Thank you so much, Ma, for having us. It's so glad for you to hear your experience with us, to share your experience with us, and thankfully we will also be learning from your experience and picking our own life lessons from it. Thank you, Ma.
All right, thank you so much. We are happy to have you, and thank you for making time with us this morning. So, can we have you, Ma? Can you let us know your name and where you work? Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm grateful to Fisheries Hub for the invitation to have this interview with me. My name is Foluke Areola. I am the president-elect of the World Aquaculture Society. I was president of the World Aquaculture Society African chapter and the first federal director of fisheries quarantine in Nigeria, the first female acting federal director of fisheries in Nigeria, the first female acting federal director of fisheries and aquaculture also in Nigeria. Before this, I was the first female president of the Fisheries Society of Nigeria.
Well, that's a fantastic one and so motivating. So I know it will have been a long journey and a wonderful one in the field of fisheries and aquaculture. And we are happy to have you. So I would like to know how your journey comes by aquaculture and fisheries. Are you very much aware you are going to come to this part, or can you share briefly with us your journey, how you come by aquaculture and fisheries? Maybe it's a course you've always wanted to study even while seeking admission, or the other way around.
Okay, I will go down memory lanes. In my family, my father told me I was the very first person that had inclination towards science. My father had a master's in Latin, and my other older siblings were reading geography, English, and here she comes having some inclination towards science. And my father was very thrilled about this. He went through the journey with me. But in the secondary school I attended, which was Christ School, Ado Ekiti, in those days, I don't know if it still obtains now, we used to have counselors who would choose subjects for students in our when going into class 4. We had 5 years when going into the 4th year, and they gave me chemistry, biology, and geography. I had thought I was going to have physics, chemistry, biology, go on to read medicine, but I got chemistry, biology, and geography. So I went to higher school in Queen's School, studied those 3 subjects, and when I applied to UI, I was taken to read zoology at the Department of Zoology. The first year it was okay, but the second year we had on our syllabus courses that were specialized courses: hydrobiology and fisheries, parasitology, physiology, and so on. And I decided to study hydrobiology and fisheries, parasitology at that level. After I finished my youth corps year, I was teaching in this boys' school, and I decided to go back to zoology department to study aquaculture because it was advertised at the master's level. We were 4 that studied aquaculture, and it was such an interesting year for me. All we did was practical all through. I had to dig my own pond. I have to go to Agodi, where the Ministry of Agriculture was, and use their pond with Harper. So I worked with clarias and carp those years, and I did the propagation of clarias and carp, and I had to grow them to sizable pieces before I finished my master's degree in UI. So from there, I now felt, why go back to teaching since I've done so much work, and it was interesting. It was a very interesting year for me. I applied to Federal Department of Fisheries. So my journey into aquaculture actually began with a desire to use science to improve livelihood and ensure food security. And fisheries and aquaculture are tools that offer the opportunity because they connect people, nutrition, and the environment in very practical ways. Fisheries and aquaculture became a passion for me. It became like part of me, and I enjoyed every bit of it. That you can imagine that my career path, though not straightforward, I must tell you that I had some issues, some experiences. I had to learn from experiences. I had limited resources, uncertainty at some points, but that is what the youth that you are trying to speak to with all these interviews and so on need to learn from, that we don't have a straight pathway in life. I set out one a medical doctor. I even, as a private student, I went to study physics on my own. But I never got the result. I think God just wanted me to be in fisheries. And so that is where I am today as a fisheries and aquaculture person. And you can imagine that last year, 2025, I just got a PhD in fisheries. So that is how it has been. And I'm grateful that initiatives like this, that Fish Lead Hub is taking up, is critical in letting students know the possibilities that are very early in life, so that it can guide their career pathways as they go on in life.
That's a wonderful one, and just like I said earlier, the journey must have been a fantastic one. Yeah, you mentioned, some challenges that came up, how our paths, cannot always be straight. So maybe briefly, you can just share with us 1 or 2 challenges that came across your way in this career, and how you were able to overcome them.
Okay, let me tell you the very first one. When we finished in UI, um, we were to have been given MSc in aquaculture or fisheries, MSc in fisheries, but we ended up getting MSc in zoology. And this was due to the fact that the department was not accredited yet to be to award masters in fisheries. You can know that this could be disappointing to somebody who all she did, all of us, the four of us, in different ways, we had different projects. All that we did was aquaculture, going to having ponds, studying the dam, how the dam, the dike, going to farms in Oyo, staying the day out, visiting farms. So it was disappointing. That was one of it. And then in the civil service, I faced a lot of challenges when I became acting director of fisheries, opposition here and there, but I was focused. And that commitment and focus never made me to be deterred from my desire to use science to promote food security and livelihoods.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ma. That's a wonderful one to hear. And in fact, that also goes to the next question on my list. As a female leader in aquaculture and currently the president-elect of the World Aquaculture Society, so we'd like to know what your experience has been like in a field that many see as a male-dominated.
Now, let me tell you this. As a woman in aquaculture, I have worked in spaces that were always designed to be, not designed to be inclusive. You know, spaces that you would have thought were designed only for the male gender. But however, I have learned along the path of my life that competence, consistency, and confidence is what one needs to navigate life, whether you are a man or you are a woman. Once you believe in yourself and you try to have mentors, that has helped me. I had mentors, and I also have connections here and there outside of my field to learn. I made sure that I didn't restrict my learning to Nigeria alone. I had friends outside of Nigeria. I have colleagues outside of Nigeria, and I was ready to share ideas. I was ready to learn. And if you ask anybody that worked with me, I can learn from anybody, whether junior or senior. And I will tell you that in my department, when people see me coming, they try to judge, because if I had to make a presentation tomorrow, for instance, I will ask 1, 2, 3, 4, as many people as possible. Can you think of over this subject? Can we share ideas? Can you read what I have written? I always have something to give somebody to do. And as director of fisheries, acting director of fisheries, I used to give my officers, the junior ones, I would give them homework to do, which I used to mark. But what I'm trying to do, especially for what I'm trying to say, especially for girls that are listening today, is that aquaculture and fisheries need everybody, both male and female. And the perspectives of these young girls do matter. And also their participation will strengthen the sector. I remember very well about a few years ago when some ladies, coincidentally, at Makoko in Lagos, Makoko fishing village, were the ones who developed apps by which their parents were selling their fish and fish products. And that is what I mean by that. As a woman, don't look at yourself as a woman in a way that will reduce your ability as a human being. I believe you must look at yourself as a woman and see yourself not in competition with the male gender, no, but somebody who can survive. And I think I learned that also from Christ School. I went to a Miss School. And we all grew together as there was nothing like gender. We grew up as a member of the same family. We compete in school. Oh, I must come first. The so and so person came first. I must make sure that I too do well. It was like that. And I think that had helped me. Also, mentorship, exposure, we help, and we also help the girls. And I want to also say that fish-led hub outreach is removing barriers, all these invisible barriers of a man and a woman, by what you are doing now, showing that science, leadership, and innovation in aquaculture is accessible to all, not just to the male gender or to the female gender. If I had thought of, oh, I'm a female, I can't construct ponds, I can't do, and I want to give the credit also to my lecturers in UI. We were 2 females and 2 males in that master's class, but we did everything. Dr. Sidnam, Professor Fagade ensured that we did everything together. Girls were not excluded from one aspect of the training or the other aspect. I went on the low loader and I was very tiny then. I went on the caterpillar to see whether I could move it, just like any other person. It was interesting. And I remember we traveled with Professor Fagade to Brass at that time. We were on a boat for two weeks. And we all stayed in the bunker on the boat. So I think exposure, experience, mentorship, and what you are doing now as a Fish Lead Hub is very important to help the female girl, the female gender, the girl, to know that. And looking at me also, or looking at other females that have succeeded, is a sort of encouragement to them to say, oh, I want to be in that position too. If she can do it, and if other female individuals that have succeeded in their field could do it, then they too can do it. And so I appreciate what you are doing, because in World Aquaculture Society, there's no discrimination of you are a woman, you are a man. We are equals, and aquaculture needs everybody.
Oh, that's a great one. Thank you for the brilliant response to that question. And for me, I've been able to pick myself, and I believe the same thing will be applicable to our members and then our audience for the outreach, which are the secondary school students. Thank you so much, Ma. The next question on my list: you once led the Department of Fisheries, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and guided important research and training. In your view, what innovation are shaping aquaculture today?
Thank you very much. By virtue of the fact that I was acting director of fisheries and acting director of fisheries quarantine and all, and director of fisheries quarantine, I was on the board of the Agric Research Council of Nigeria. And so I had the opportunity to review research findings, innovations that were brought up by the research institutes, especially, and colleges of fisheries, and also even by the practitioners. The innovations in aquaculture today includes better production systems. We have improved feed, improved seed, responsible environmental practices, and the use of technology to improve efficiency and sustainability. And I must give it to our practitioners, the fish farmers. They were trying so many things. Indigenous knowledge also came up in managing the curing of fish tanks. For instance, the use of palm oil to cure concrete tanks, the use of bitter leaf to control diseases and improve the feeding, not habit, making the fish to want to eat more, their desire for food. So many indigenous methods came up, even indigenous methods for transporting live fish that we keep them alive and make them get to the market still very strong, and so on. So there were so many, and there were some innovations that were copied, like the water recirculatory system, but because of energy issues, they could not be sustained. They now had to adopt that method using other ways to ensure water quality and ensure that the parameters are within the range without necessarily going through the complicated, sophisticated method of production. So I think both the scientists and the practitioners have done well in form of innovations, and there are so many now coming up nowadays with the use of technology. You have the use of ICT, and then you have so many students now that are so knowledgeable, coming up with different innovations, how to calculate your feed, how to ensure you have the data on the number of fish in your ponds, how to market your fish. In so many ways, different innovations are now coming up, and I know that our fish farmers are taking advantage of this.
That's incredible, and it's a brilliant one. Thank you so much. Yeah, to the next question. How can young people be parts of innovation in aquaculture?
I think I've said it in different ways, but I will also still say it again, that young people, for instance, sustainable growth will depend on well-trained professionals, ethical, innovative young professionals. That is how we can have growth in Africa. And so the young people do not have to wait until they're in the university to contribute. Their participation will give strength to aquaculture development in Nigeria and in Africa. And through platforms like these that Fish Lead Hub is providing, students can begin to learn about the sector. They can begin to learn about developing problem-solving skills and understanding how aquaculture fits within the blue economy. When you have an understanding of something, you are better off with how you can contribute into whatever it is. And in this case, it is aquaculture. The better informed they are, and the earlier they are informed, the better they are able to contribute. And nowadays, even the children in primary school can use their phones to do a number of things. And AI has now introduced a completely different dimension into the use of telephones, that they can sit now and start calculating, if I put 10 pieces of fish in so and so water body, what is the feed, and so on and so forth. And I believe that this early engagement will build their confidence and prepare them to take advantage of future trainings and career opportunities.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for the brilliant response. We are gradually moving to the end of the conversation. So I would like you to speak, you told us about your story and your career journey you shared with us. So do you think a career in fisheries and aquaculture is worth pursuing, is worth
Oh,
giving time and energy to, or let me say, is worth considering at this time of age?
oh, um, I think I'm even the best person to ask that question because fisheries and aquaculture is, I think, is the best profession anybody could go into because it gives opportunity to everybody. A doctor who is well informed about surgical practices is good when it comes to propagation of fish and getting the milk and the egg for artificial insemination. An engineer is needed in the profession. If it's fisheries, to help with the construction of fishing vessels, aquaculture, construction of ponds, raceways, dike, dams, and any profession can fit into fisheries and aquaculture. And what I know is that our youth can shape how food is produced, I mean, fish food is produced, how it is managed, how it is distributed, how it is uh, taken to the market. There is a whole wide range of opportunities in fisheries and aquaculture. And until people are informed, they will not know that there's the career opportunity and choices and appreciate the value of science-based food systems. And so I want to say that fisheries and aquaculture gives the opportunity for you to be a policymaker, to be a scientist, to be an entrepreneur, somebody who is making money through production of fish, processing of fish, marketing of fish, transporting fish, and then selling premixes, a whole range of opportunities, inputs into aquaculture production. If you are into fish feed, producing fish feed, selling fish feeds, I can go on and on. The opportunities are there. But the earlier people are taught about it, the better. You can now generate that interest and make them decide that, okay, instead of studying another course that you have to wait for a while, looking for employment and employment that you have to go to work from morning till evening and then come back, than the one that you can make money. Fish is like money in the bank. I keep saying it. The interest, if I can call it, or is much more than any interest that any bank can pay you when you invest in the production of fish through aquaculture. So I think it is a good, both fisheries and aquaculture are good businesses to invest in whichever way. And especially aquaculture, there is also the health angle of it, where you see your fish grow. When you start from very tiny, minute things and you see them develop, it gives joy. And joy is good for the body, is good for the cells, for the bones, for the spirit. And you see them grow, you fall in love with them. And you can also have other ways. Invite people to come and see your ponds, and whatever they catch, they pay for it. And you can also have a barbecue session by the side, where people can roast the fish, and then that's an outdoor business that you can spring up from there. And that is really thriving in Nigeria, where you see people, they have point and kill business. They will pick the particular fish that they want to eat from the tank where they are kept, and then it will be brought out dressed in their presence and then put on their table. There's something interesting, there's something good about this. And I think when the students, we are catching them early, once the students understand that aquaculture can lead to meaningful career, I think they are more likely to pursue training further in aquaculture with purpose and confidence that this one will earn us better living. And they can combine it. The good thing is that you can always combine it with other professions that you are doing and work it out. In the morning, you feed your fish, you take care of the environment and all that. You do other things in between. You go back to check on your fish. It's another source of income, and wealth comes from different sources of income, not just from one source of income.
Thank you so much for that brilliant response. As we move gradually to the end of this conversational session, I would like to give a final message to the secondary school students who are currently at the verge of making career choices, and also to undergraduate students in fisheries and aquaculture presently in tertiary institutions in Africa. Thank you.
Well, if I could speak to my younger self, I would say seek guidance, remain curious, and do not be discouraged by challenges. I will also encourage them to seek mentorship. And we in West Africa, World Aquaculture Society African chapter, we have a good mentee-mentor program. And if Fish Lead would want to partner with us for their students, we could provide that sort of relationship wherein we will speak to them, we will teach them, we will educate them, and then we will expose them to other students from other regions so that they can see what is going on outside of Nigeria. And, exposure matters. I've said that before. And no one succeeds alone. We all need each other. So we can have some form of partnership. It's free, the mentor program of the World Aquaculture Society, where African chapter is free, and I could link you with the regional director and the program director for that, for the mentee mentor program. But to every student that is watching and listening to this message, your interest today can become your expertise tomorrow. And so through learning, mentorship, and commitment, you can contribute to Africa's food security and blue economy. And I want to encourage especially those who are in the university, because I know of university students who have trained themselves through the money they made from growing fish while in the university. So instead of things being on the phone all the time, if they have some form of mentorship on how to start small and learn on it, they can even get money from growing fish to pay school fees, to do other things. And they can come together like an association, pool money together, and have a facility draft an agreement though on how they are going to work together, they are going to share profit and all that before starting out as a group, and grow fish and see how it goes. Some people can be in production, some can be in processing, some can be in marketing, and they find that doing that, they are already developing some form of entrepreneurship while still in school. And I also want them to believe in themselves. There's something that confidence does to a man. When they believe in themselves and they do not hesitate to explore opportunities that could shape their future, then the sky is not the limit. And so I want to also thank the Fish-Led Hub for this program to support the students and the undergraduates in their journey in life. Because if they can embrace the teachings, or if they can gain something from this program to take home and think about it, and come to have some little savings to start small. Let them start small and grow until they become big. And so they already have a line of interest, a line of income, and something that they can also pass on to other people. And through experience, I've told them that life is not straightforward. There are ups and downs. Through different experiences, they will grow, they will become better human beings. And fisheries and aquaculture is the way to go. Thank you.
Wow, that's a very fantastic one. In fact, for the final words, fisheries and aquaculture is the way to go, and that's exactly
Yes.
what it is. I must say thank you so much for the shared moment. It's been a valuable one, sharing with us your experiences and your insights. In fact, for me, I am highly motivated, and I believe same thing applicable to our audience and our members of Fish Lead Up, as well as the secondary school students out there who will be listening to this message. I want to say thank you so much for making a time for this conversational recording, and we do not take
Fisheries and aquaculture are the way to go.
Go, yes.
Are the way
Thank
to
you
go.
so much, ma.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you for this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Foluke Areola. Thank you so much, ma'am. Really appreciate your time and presence. Yeah. Thank you so much. God bless you, ma'am. Please let's celebrate Dr. Foluke Areola in the chat box. In case you have any question, please drop it in the chat box, or you can drop it on our WhatsApp. Yes, I'll drop it on our WhatsApp. We will address it there. And for our members, or you are just joining us for the first time and you are not on our WhatsApp group, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channel so we can add you to the group. You will not be left out in the gist and opportunities. Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. Once again, let's say thank you to Dr. Foluke Areola. So these are the announcements we are having. Please make sure you are following all our social media channels. It is so important for you to follow. Please do make sure you follow our social media channels. And also, we have a scholarship group in the community. Please make sure you are also part of the group. So opportunities are also coming out from there. Please, and make sure you are intentional about the opportunities. Make sure you do it and do it diligently. Yes. And also, please, let's try to be active on our WhatsApp group. Likewise, if you have any innovation, any ideas, you don't really know how to put it or what you need to do for you to put it to life, please, you can feel free to reach out to any of our admins. We are open to hear your ideas and also guide you to become who you really want to become. Thank you so much, Fish Lead Up. To the team members of Fish Lead Up, thank you so much for having me up here on stage. I will say a big thank you, and from here, I say a good night and have a lovely evening. Yes, thank you.